And what I like about road beds is not only do fish use them, you know, to stop on going in and out, they'll use them to travel, because those hard bottom places are live bottom for shad spawns, bluegill beds, you know, all types of life, crawfish, all types of life live around these road beds, and that's the reason why they're high percentage places for bass to live and stay around, both pre-spawn and post-spawn. The biggest thing with road beds to me though is everybody fishes them. You know, everybody's got the best mapping. You know, we've got Navionics or C-Map with Lowrance or whatever your mapping is, and all those road beds are drew out perfectly. You know, you go to a lake that you're not familiar with and they're right there. But the thing about it is you've got to kind of approach them differently than other anglers. Like whenever I'm fishing a road bed, I am burning a crankbait. If I'm throwing a crankbait, something that other anglers are doing, I'm burning that crankbait because I'm trying to get a reaction bite. If I'm fishing a jig, I'm not just dragging it along. I'm stroking the jig. I'm making it do all kinds of funny things. But a bait that goes really unnoticed on hard spots and road beds, and a matter of fact, 2019 when we were here on Guntersville, I fished a road bed to, I think I finished 13th in that one. I was in 6th going into the last day, or the third day, and kind of bobbled. But it was a hair jig, and it's a super subtle finesse, big fish catching bait. You throw it on 15-pound line, you'll let it go to the bottom, and what I'll do is I'll just make 1 or 2 turns of the reel, and I'll let that bait pendulum back to me, and I'll make 1 or 2 more turns, and I'll let it pendulum back. And it's just, it sneaks up on them. And the way that buck hair does in the water, they just can't help but come up and choke it. And it's a bait that not a lot of guys are throwing, and it really does well on hard spots with pressured fish, on a place that a lot of guys fish, which is a road bed. You know, everybody sees it. And this is one little trick that I have in my toolbox that I feel like not a lot of, you know, weekend anglers, and, you know, obviously on the Elite Series, everybody knows everything. But when I'm going to a lake like Guntersville, it gets a lot of pressure. This is a key. And I'll mix in, you know, your typical stuff, your dragging the jigs, and like I said, I'll stroke them. I just won't just drag them. And when it comes to it, if I have to, I'll throw a Magnum shaky head. So, I mean, it's just, you've got to think about different approaches to what you're doing. The other thing is the angles, okay? So, say you graph around, there's 2 different ways to approach these road beds. You might graph them and look for a school on there, and when you visually see a school on your graph on side scan or down scan or whatever, and you turn around and fish for them. Other ways, sometimes you're fishing for singles that are spread out over, you know, 100 yards of a road bed or a shell bed or whatever, and you have to like start at one end of it and just fish. If it's a school of fish, I like to pull out to that road bed and fish them perpendicularly, because that school of fish is usually in, you know, long ways. And if you catch one of those, you know, if you make a cast and catch one of those, you're going to scatter that school a whole lot faster. You're not going to be able to catch many fish off that school. So I'll kind of pick at the edges of them, and it'll keep you from breaking them up so bad. And if I'm not doing that, then I typically start in the deep part of the road bed and I'll fish shallow. And if I get bit, I'll turn around and run right back down it. But the key is every different road bed has its niche angle. You know, some road beds are flat, you know, they might be gravel. Some road beds might be, you know, broke up asphalt. Some road beds might be like a causeway where it has chunk rock that comes up, and it comes up 6 feet and then down. And those fish can be on, you know, the left side or the right side of that thing, or the left side, or they could be on top. So you really have to figure out what angle works for each one. It's just each road bed's a little puzzle that you have to figure out where they're setting up and what angle they bite the best.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.